Hi everyone! How many of you know how to start a long-lasting campfire? No one? Well, don't worry. I can show you all my tricks. 'Cause it's getting pretty cold out there. I'll be showing you how to start a campfire based on my experience and some research I've done. In showing my audience how to start a campfire, I'll discuss the following: what materials you need, types and styles of campfires, and the building and lighting process. So let's get started. Materials needed. First, we have to discuss the materials that you need for a campfire. I usually get some of my materials from any type of market like Ralph's, but also the best and cheapest, aka free, from the campsite. But you can also get things that you need from the Camp Ranger, but it's usually more expensive than the market. So, we have tinder, kindling, firewood, and a flame source. So for tinder, since it's the smallest and easiest, I recommend things like leaves, wood chips, or fire sticks. And then next we have kindling, and you want to make sure it's not too thin or too thick or your fire won't catch. So you'll need twigs or branches. Next, for firewood, use oak, birch, or any type of wood that is accessible to you. Lastly is the flame source, which you can use flint and steel, a regular lighter, which is what I use, or matches and other fire starters. Now that I've discussed the materials needed for starting a campfire, I'll discuss the types and styles of setting up a campfire. So secondly, there are many ways to set up a campfire based on what you need, and unfortunately just throwing sticks into a pit and lighting it isn't always going to help you. Instead, there are beneficial ways, types, and styles that will help your fire last. So pick a style of your choosing. I tend to go with the lean-to campfire just because they're easy to start and provides a good steady fire for warmth and cooking. So start with a log on its side and then add kindling and tinder next to it. Once it's lit, I add more sticks to burn to keep the fire going, and some can see this as a con, having to keep the fire consistent, but I don't, because I gather as much supplies as I can at the beginning before I start my fire, so I'm not running back and forth just to keep my fire aflame. So another beginner-friendly campfire that I like to set up, which actually most people do out of habit, is called the teepee or pyramid. Since it's so easy and simple, I like to start with this one as well because it doesn't need constant attention like the lean-to, but you can make it as big as small as you want, but I tend to go smaller because the logs that I get or find at the campsite are usually smaller. To make this one, you will need to get a handful of tinder, place it in the middle of the fire ring, and then lean the logs to make a shape of an Indian teepee, and then add kindling in the circle around the tinder, light it, and you're done. And now that I've discussed the materials needed and the types and styles of campfires, I'll speak on the building and lighting process. Okay, so finally let's talk about the building and lighting process, which should be very simple now and easy that you've chosen your style. So let's build the fire. I go for easier and beginner friendly fires because they start faster and it's easier. It's less work for me. So now to light the fire, you use the previously mentioned materials, and once it's lit, the next step is to keep it going. It's important to note the weather when lighting your fire. It's important to keep your fire breathing. The teepee setup is actually an excellent choice for keeping oxygen in your fire. And always keep the bottom of your fire pit open so that it has a better chance of staying aflame. In conclusion, maintaining a campfire can be a little hard and tricky at first, but once you learn the right materials and how to build one, you'll be set for all your future camping trips. So in showing my audience how to build a campfire, I talked about the materials needed, types and styles, and the building and lighting process. According to Jeff Adams from Reserve America, a campfire is more than just to ward off a chilly night. A campfire is a place where family and friends gather to lounge and chat, roast marshmallows, or simply stare into the glowing coals and let the mind wander. With that being said, go camping, be stress-free, and take what I've taught you today. I'd also like to leave you with a little quote from Ernest Hemingway. The echoes of beauty you've seen transpire resound through dying coals of campfire. And that is all for today.